Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my videos of Game of the Month 147. Now, unlike my last video, and hopefully future videos I make, this recording, this voiceover is not done live. I did do recording live, but it didn't work out very well. The settings were wrong. So there I pop the hut, and what I'm deciding here is whether I want to risk the settler dying from the horseman, or whether I want to use the trireme to attack the horseman. I ultimately decided to use the trireme, and I put down that second settler, well, partly so that I wouldn't get destroyed in this case, but also in the hope that the horseman would attack the supported settler, possibly, if it survived. So anyway, there I lost my trireme. So I have to build another. So that settler is pretty well dead. Oh. Not really. He's still alive. He's gonna stay alive. But he's in the red, and it doesn't really matter in the case of a settler. Engineers matters a little more because they'll lose their one movement point. So anyway, more about this series is that I'm trying to do this series with minimal editing, and I'm also doing it at the normal gameplay speed. And basically, the idea is that I figure I might do something that's a bit easier to do. The other series I've done, the other one I'm currently working on, the Persians, that does take an awful lot of editing, and you're just removing stuff from the gameplay. And also, another reason I'm doing this at regular speed is because I found software that will record the sounds from the game. Unfortunately, I can't get my game to play the music for whatever reason, so I'll just have to add that in after. Also, it gives me a wider selection of music, rather than just from the one CD. So here I'm doing the micromanaging of those two cities. It's a bit of a hassle to micromanage cities that are using the same resources, because you have to actually go into both cities and all that, and you can't just say, oh, okay, I need more shields or more arrows, or what have you. You have to go and fiddle around with both the cities at the same time, one right after the other, and back and forth. So, my thought process here was that I would send that warrior north, so that the next city would not have to produce one, and could start right on a settler. You will see later that that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So anyway, Hladir is building a settler, and is now building a settler. Yeah, so, see, the problem is that Uppsala is already going to need a warrior soon, which I didn't realize at this time, which was kind of silly. So anyway, I went up there to make the city, because from the original look I had at the game map, I knew there'd be a whale up there. That'll be uncovered shortly. Because once again, in this game of the month, you're playing on a known map, so you can look at it from the beginning of the game save, just so that you have an idea of what's going on. The other rules are that you can't build on the American continent or the Europe, Asia, Africa continent. or also the Great Britain Islands. So, I mean, like, you're basically limited to New Zealand, Australia, and a handful of islands elsewhere. I think the largest is Madagascar. And, also, I think Cuba is there that you can build on. And I think there are also a handful of other islands. So, like, there's Indonesia as well that you can build on. This game of the month. Yeah, so anyway, basically, about this time I realized that Uppsala is going to need another warrior to support the city. To keep order in the city, I should say. And that's basically one of the hassles about deity level, is that you just have to keep enough warriors around. That's also why you really don't want those cities to grow very much. That's actually one of the downsides to having food specials at the deity level, is that your city grows, but that's not necessarily a good thing, and you have to spend all sorts of time building warriors in order to keep the peace. Yeah, so here I believe, so a lot of the stuff that you see is just a little bit of micromanaging that in my Persian game I cut out a lot of, especially later on. And so here I forgot to pick up the citizen in order to keep order. So I will have this order next turn. So there I'm starting Caravan in Trondheim. I will shortly do the same with Copenhagen. And those cities will build Marco Polo's embassy. Yeah, so there I was debating whether I wanted to finish a settler sooner or have a couple of extra arrow production. As you can see, I ultimately chose on settler. And so here I was having problems with Ladir, lots of food production, little shield production, and so it grew to size 3 before I could build a settler. And so I figured I'd rather uncover a few more squares than have citizens' production this turn. Perhaps that was a mistake, especially since I could have checked the original map and found out that there was nothing worth uncovering there. I mean, I had a pretty good idea anyway, because the special was right there, so it's not like I would be uncovering another one. So yeah, there's nice, just rush 5 shields. And you get it a little bit cheaper that way than rushing 10 at a time. there were whales there from the original map. And so that set the settler on the shield grassland that isn't building a city is pre-charged, so it can build a road right away. Because the way that settler production work works in Civilization 2 is that the settler stores how much he's worked, and then when you tell it to do a job, it adds the amount of work to a counter it has, and then the game checks and see if it's done yet based on the job he's doing. So you can go and basically have settler do some work in one spot and take him over and even do completely different work in another and have it done sooner. So here I decided that I'd rather have some extra tax money, because I'd be able to get some technologies from other civilizations once I got Marco Polo's embassy. So I chose to do this game of the month, partly because it's a relatively quick one, because, my civilization isn't going to get much bigger than it is now. Okay, get about twice the size it is now, but it's still not very large. But then it can't just keep growing, because I won't have anywhere to build. So I think I just mentioned that this game is also current, so if you want to, I'll put the link in the description. I'm sure I've already done it for the first video. And then you can go and download it and play it, and if you like, you can even submit it for the competition. Or if you're watching this at a later date, you can just play it for yourself. And so you can see how well you compare to me as I make a video of it. Or you can say you compare it to the other Game of the Month players. Or take a look and see what they do in order to improve. So there, I was planning on using that warrior to explore that hut rather than use valuable settler time. So I'm just doing food supplies because I know that I'm going to build Marco Polo's embassy with those caravans. So there's no point in just choosing commodities. It wouldn't matter, because the commodities would be freed up anyway after you put them into the wonder. So there is my next city of Esquilda. More food specials. Fish. Now, that said, once you get to Republic, the fish are really nice, because they can save you from the trouble of buying a harbor for a while. And so there I get masonry from the hut. Would have liked to trade it for it instead, but oh well, doesn't really matter. So here is when I realized that I now have too many cities, and that they're going to start creating disorder. So what I do is I switched luxuries around so that it recalculates everything in the attitude advisor, so you can get an accurate assessment. Which I then realized doesn't help because you have to make sure that your city isn't going to grow and be unhappy. So you have to check all the cities that need it. And somehow I don't think that luxury change actually worked anyway to recalculate everything. I didn't notice it this one. So my decision for the Udall was to send back the trireme. Because triremes have an attack value, so they can perform martial law. So even more micromanagement here. I end up having to cut down on that for the purposes of video making. So I believe there I was choosing what to do with that settler, because there are only a couple more cities to build around here. So I was deciding exactly what to do with him. Work the land, I guess. Well, okay, I know I ended up choosing that. Makes sense. Well, it does go somewhat against my player instincts of just expand, expand, expand. Yeah, so I forgot Kaopeng. And the way I ultimately chose to solve Kaopeng's problem was to move the warrior from Trondheim and let Trondheim have the entertainer. So I actually move it on the following turn, because there's no point in having it there when Kaopeng was in disorder anyway. Yeah, so there I realized that I could have sent out the trireme anyway, and just uncovered a little bit more sooner. So in the end, it doesn't really matter. there, Ross killed it. Well, now in disorder, and what I didn't realize is that was going to grow next turn, and therefore still have problems. There's the skill of the problem, that disorder. So I decided to take the warrior, use that to find whatever's in the hut. So meanwhile, the settler from Upsala will go and make a city that will take advantage of buffalo and fish. So I believe I spent a little bit of time dilly-dallying here as to whether I wanted to have both those cities, both Capet and Trondheim, finish their caravan in 2 turns, or just 1. Let's make them choose 1 turn. And so there, the caravans are finished, and I was going to go and put them into Trondheim this turn. But I do put them into Trondheim this turn. Put 3 of them in. I make a mistake right there, and therefore we'll have to wait until next turn. So there we go. I get pottery from the hut. Another tech that I probably could have gotten from somebody else. So there, I finally put the last caravan in. And so now I complete Marco Polo's embassy. Okay, so that's what the Wonder videos look like in-game. And this is pretty well where I'm going to end this video. So, see you next time.